BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rekakwadash, the water, Yahawah, the water, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, Shalaki, Yahawah, for my sins as I cry, BAHASHAM, Yahawah, for a every time, Barakatah, Yahawah, Vashim, Yahushai, Water, Yahawah, for the akim that you supply, the water, Yahawah, for the aqua that comply, Kolo, Yahawah, Bashim, Yahushai, Barakatah, Yahawah, for your mercy all the time, Kolo, Yahawah, Bashim, Yahushai, Shalaki, Yahawah, for my sins as I cry. Shalom, shalom. It's your brother, Obadiah Halkanan today. And here today, this afternoon, so to speak, to bring out lesson that boy oh boy, Barakatah Yahawah, Shem Yahushai. Let me make sure I got everything together here. Definitely want to get straight. Okay, here we go. We are gonna get straight. We want to say shalom to all the brethren, the Akim, the Akwav, and we want to give our salutations to the hopeful elect that are scattered all over the entire earthly plane, putting us in a position to be thankful and wonderfully, fearfully and wonderfully working towards everlasting salvation that is only for the Israelites in every capacity. I want to definitely give our salutations out to all of those men on the highways and byways that are out doing the work day in and day out, week in and week out, diligently bringing forth the truth in every capacity that they can, understanding that it all has been predetermined and pre-selected. And that's very much the case. We give salutations to the apostles that have been bringing the truth out for decades in and decades out. The apostles of GMS, they are operating under the majority of the accuracy that follows through in the truth that is there and that we need to adhere to. If they're sticking to the sacred name, which they are in every capacity, this is important because that's what matters at this time. We're living in and through prophecy, and we're supposed to continue in that manner throughout everything that we're doing. As you can see behind me right here, if you look at this poster, it gives you the name. Oh, Shalaki, where my stick? Here it is. It gives you the name here of the Father, right? Not left to right, but right to left. This is Yahweh's name. And this here is Yahawashi name right here, as you see below. And of course, you see the menorah. All right. So we want to keep it straight, keep it right. And we definitely want to get that out. Okay, so knowing this information, today's lesson is, of course, one that I praise, worship, and pray for the Most High to bring me to the understanding and the fruition of that, which is clearly and Shalaki. Ooh, make sure we got the right one. Yeah, we good. All right, we good. Bring me to the fruition and the understanding of the word that need to be brought out. And the title of the lesson today is BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, and in parentheses, right? Mystery Babylon's going down right on schedule. Mystery Babylon is going down right on schedule. And I was listening to quite a few of the brethren that were doing lessons that I would say that are pretty much in line with exactly what we're going to talk about today. Elder Malcolm was doing the lesson today, and he was bringing out information in reference to how, the small hats and those individuals that we know have been appointed by the Most High, as everything has been, to perform the actual activities that they're predetermined to do. And they are completely predestined and processed to complete this in a puppetized fashion. And sometimes we get a little bit beside ourselves, basically, from the fact that the Most High is determined how he wants to bring the information out in reference to what's going to be presented and what's going to be understood in terms of our evaluation of the knowledge and information that's being predetermined in us as well. Definitely have to go into this portion of it because, see, this is very, very much important in reference to how we're perceiving what's going on. So we start out with a question, but before we get to that question, what we're going to do is we're going to bring out a scripture, all right? And I'm going to Jeremiah. And I'm going to Jeremiah chapter 1. I'm going to do a little time in Jeremiah today with this lesson in reference to BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, in terms of the mystery Babylon's going down right on schedule. So I want you to go to Jeremiah chapter 1, and I'm going to read verse 10. I might probably pick up a few more in reference to what's going on in this first chapter. But right now, this is where we are. Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 10, and it reads, See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down. Sound like a Jake for real, right? Father ain't playing. And to build and to plant. Now, the reason why I brought that first is because this is what we need to understand in reference to where we're going. The Father has YAHAWASHAM, YAHAWASHI. Yahweh has gotten me through YAHAWASHI in the Raw Dish to stay on the premise of his offering in terms of what platform he's provided me with in a very humble fashion, to stick with foundational presentation of information that will encompass the majority, if not all of it, but the majority of what is being presented to the world, and the presentation of what's being presented to the world by those individuals that have been awakened to the truth. Now, I know they're going to be doing a little shadow banning on my lesson because they hate me with a very strong passion, like they hate our Heavenly Father, because I don't do traditional lessons in the fashion that I jump all over the Most High's activity as he is taking down Babylon, as he is taking down Babylon around the world, which we're going to talk about it. He tells me and shows me to stay foundational in being a presenter, because I don't have any ability at all to control any of what's happening. I have no heaven and no hell to put anyone in. I have no power over any individuals. I don't assume to or I don't elate the situation of thinking that I have any power over anyone, because I don't do that, because Most High has not put that in my spirit to operate in that fashion. I completely am 20 digits down on the fact that YAHAWASHI controls absolutely everything that's going on in creation. Everything has been already predetermined in every capacity. So we know that Esau Edom it has to be empowered to fulfill prophecy at the end time. So for any of us, and I don't try not to anyway, to speak in terms of Esau having a specific amount of power that seems to be equated and spoken of in terms of him doing things that we don't automatically disclaim and validate that the Most High is the one that's controlling everything that's going on. And for us to even attempt to take license to try to say, well, it's obvious that the Most High is doing it. No, let me say, you are very disrespectful. Okay, you may not think so, because you think that your position and your platform has been in a state of servitude to the level that you believe you're doing exactly what YAHAWASHI said, and operating in the guise and understanding under direct specific detail of Hamashiach Yahawashi. But you don't mirror Hamashiach Yahawashi. You mirror your organizations. And see, this is what we see very effectively through the way that you present the information that you are participating in and that you are exposed to by the Most High as he's taking down Babylon in the way that he's doing it on schedule. But what we do, and a lot of what the supposedly awakened in the truth Hebrew Israelites do, is they brandish their types of presentation and their information that they're giving in a format where they do not include during the steps of the presentation the fact that Yahweh is in control of absolutely everything. So what they end up doing is they bring this personification that makes you believe that Esau is operating with some kind of power that's autonomous to the control of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Now, oh, well, no, we don't. No, we don't. Well, yes, you do. Because the Father deserves, and his majesty commands the respect to give him his name throughout the process of anything that's being puppetized that goes forward in this world system completely through prophecy to the end. But your asses don't do it. And don't get on my board telling me that you do, because you just I don't understand. That's bullshit. I understand completely, and I can hear and see and observe all of it as he has me observe it. You do not give the Father the credit for everything he's doing. You talk up these devils like they have some autonomy to do whatever the hell they want to do, and they're doing it, and you have fear of them. You have some hidden ass admiration for these devils. You know you got hidden admiration for these devils. You talk like them sometimes. You say weird, stupid shit that doesn't comply with what the Most High wants. He wants credit for everything he's doing, and you need to say it through the whole process of all the lessons that you are saying it for. If you're not doing that, you're being a goddamn blasphemer. And I don't care if you don't like it. He's pissed off, and he's kicking my ass because I'm not saying it to you. But guess what? I ain't afraid of nobody but him. So the bottom line is, you need to stop, and you need to regulate and stop flowing around into your circles of sacrifices saying the same shit when you ain't really giving up the edification that you're supposed to give the Most High. Esau don't control shit. The Most High controls everything. Now, Shalaki, I know I don't normally go into any profanity. That's normally not my way of going into this. But you know what? I'm getting my ass kicked by the Most High. Literally, my ass is hurting. Okay? Because I'm not doing what he said. And when he said, bring it out, call it all out. You say on one time you're cramming and you're jamming and you're talking stuff about what people are doing, but you know he's doing it all. But why don't you say that? If there's a Jake, a Jakette, or any other entity or creation that's doing anything that disturbs your way of understanding of life, he's doing it. Tell me he's not. Show me anywhere where he's not doing it. You are a bunch of undisciplined, forehead flint Negroes. That's what you are. Because you really don't give and love the Most High enough. Because if you did, you would give him every ounce and inkling, every minuscule and molecule of absolute praise, worship, and prayer and credit for everything that's going down, and stop bitching about the fact and the way he's doing it. We gotta have these bug outs. We gotta have these things happen. This is how we got out of here. Okay, fine. All right. They all talk about the law. Oh, well, the law. All right, the law. You know, you gotta all these weirdos that talk about you gotta follow this and follow the law. You gotta follow this. Okay, let me ask you a question. See if you can answer this without being mentally disabled spiritually and mentally disabled in your brain. Does predestined trump what's happening here in this fallen state, on this earthly plane right now in this world? Does predestination trump, not orange demon, trump, in other words, does it overwhelm, supersede, right, what is all happening here in this time period, in the flesh, right now, in this fallen state? Tell me it doesn't. Take the dumbass dunce cap off your head and think for a minute. You know predestination trumps all that. So you got all these idiots trying to say, well, you know, we got to go back to the law. We have to follow the law. We got to do the law. I mean, this is what you hear, right? Okay. So let me ask you a question. Prophecy says that we have to go through this and that we will awaken in the land of our captivity and call upon the name of Yahawah. And at that point in time, didn't say anything about, well, we're going to awaken our captivity and all of us are going to go back to following and doing the law and then call on the name of the Most High and then we'll be saved. Is that what prophecy says? No. It doesn't say that you're all going to end up going back to the law and following it, and that's the major contributor to you actually being and seeing salvation and going into the new covenant. That's not what it says. Everything and everybody has already been predetermined on who's going to make it and who's not going to make it. Show me anywhere in scripture that it says not. And don't come at me with wacky-tacky Christian and religious practitioner belief systems, because that ain't going to fly. I don't want to hear that. All right. And nobody does that has any knowledge of the real truth. So that's not the case. So since you know everything has been predetermined, so then what should you do? What is your role? Well, my role is to, you hear other people say, well, my role is to wake up my people and tell them about their sins. No, you can't wake anybody up. Neither can I. The bottom line is real simple. You are to present information that is already presented and already given to you through scripture. And if the Most High has scheduled them to wake up already, just like he has already scheduled Babylon to go down, and the schedule is right on time, it's going on perfectly. If you are scheduled to wake up and you are predetermined to wake up to the truth that is presented to you, then call all YAHAWASHI, you will wake up. If not, you won't. You can't wake anybody up. You can't save anyone. You can't condemn anyone. So you can say, well, the Bible says that People who don't obey the law are going to be destroyed. Fine. Present the information. Most High had me say it multitudes of times. If there's a violation, what do? State the violation first. First thing, state the violation. After you state the violation, state what is the precepts, if there's a multitude of them, that address the violation. Okay? First you're stating what it is, then you're stating the precepts that address the violation. After you talk about the precepts that address the violation, then you talk about who it is that has the ought, which could really be first. The Most High has ought with the way of the violation that you committed. But again, that's doing the process. The Most High, YAHAWASHI, is against this activity. This is the activity he's against. Here's the precepts that address the activity that he's against. Here's the activity, or here is the process that he says he's going to address it with, or how he's going to judge it. That's what he's doing, not you. You don't get to say who's going to get destroyed because you can't destroy anybody. And you don't know if they're going to, if the Father has them scheduled for forgiveness or if he doesn't. You don't know that. They might be wickedly involved in sin at this point, unless it's a sin against the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit. But if it's something else, you don't know if the Father's going to turn them around or not. You don't even know that person could be part of the election. You don't know. So don't you tell somebody they're going to get destroyed when you don't have no power to destroy nobody. Shut your damn mouth and just give the scripture on what the Most High through YAHAWASHI will do, or is going to, how he's going to address it. And then deal with it from there. That's reprove and move. Get in there and say what you have to say and get out. Why? Because first of all, you don't debate people. And you can't debate what you didn't create. You didn't create the scriptures. You didn't create the prophecies. So you can't debate them. And don't give me this crap about we're defending the gospel. Well, the way to defend the gospel is to be intelligent enough to know what to say and what not to say. That's how you defend the gospel intelligently. That other stuff that they're talking about, that ain't it. So let's get this straight, man, because a lot of people are on these high horses and they have no humility. They're arrogant as all get out. They're aggravated as all get out. And they're pissed off at the way the Most High is getting us out of here. As I said before, if everybody were to come back to the law while we're still going through prophecy, wouldn't that take prophecy off the line? It would take it off the line. It would take it offline, because it doesn't say in prophecy that everybody's going to come back to the law. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say, okay, well, we all come back to the law. I guess prophecy will stop. Most High said, the Father said, my word will not come back void. And YAHAWASHI is the spirit of prophecy. So he had to come and fulfill what was written of him. So prophecy is not going to stop because you think that you can tell some nation of 2/3 or 1/3 or anybody else to come back to the law. They can't do it because it's not prophetically scheduled for them to do it, if you understand. They're not. They're not going to be able to do that. You would try to offset prophecy, which you cannot do. So stop being spiritually, mentally retarded, because that's what that is. Now, again, look, I don't like to rant, but when the Father gets on me and makes me butthurt, I got to rant, man, because I ain't got no choice in the matter. But I'm just trying to tell you, everything is predetermined. Everything has a predestination stamp on it. Everything, all creation, man. I mean, come on, can y'all? If you can't get this, then you're just spiritually blocked. Everything in creation has a form of spiritual blockage on it to a degree. Even YAHAWASHI, he doesn't know when he's coming back. He has not exact time, date, stamp when he's going to show up. Only the Most High has that. So that means the Father himself has put spiritual blockage on all creation to a degree. And that's why also you got to take in consideration, nobody can just come all the way back to a law. Now, first of all, okay, look, how are they going to come back to a law, right? How are people going to come back to a law that the Most High himself wiped their memory from? He's the one that said, I'm going to strip you from your heritage and who you are and scatter you all over the world, and you're going to worship idols and gods, fake gods that your fathers didn't know. I was just listening to Elder Manak Zappa bring out that today. But I'm trying to tell you, you're going to tell people to come back to law, statutes, and commandments, and you're not even teaching them how to do Judges chapter 5:11, practicing the righteous acts that incorporate a good portion of the law that we can do in captivity. You're not teaching anybody any of this information. Show me where you're teaching them how to do, like the Day of Atonement. Show me where you're teaching them how to do the Sabbath correctly. I mean, actually literally teaching them, not just talking to them about it. How about the Feast of Tabernacles, right? Is anybody teaching anybody how to do any of that? Are you teaching anybody how to do any of the laws that you can potentially keep while you're here in captivity, right? The Feast of Dedication, which they call the Hanukkah, whatever. Are you teaching anybody any of this stuff? You're talking about coming back to the law, statutes, and commandments, but you don't even offer a way to teach them how to do any of this. So, and especially on the large scale, because when you're out there in a lot of these offshoot camps and organizations, what they're doing is they're just telling people and challenging people on scripture 30 feet off the ground. They don't deal with people foundational. You're still running out there and saying you're not saying Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, and if you do, you discount it to the point where the disclaimer doesn't come fully out. You may say it in the beginning or once or twice in a presentation. Sometimes not even at all. You're out there JCing everybody. Oh, it's all about Christ and then you're all saying all that stuff. And you keep the demons in front of you because that's their God. And then they look at you like, well, I think what it is they don't understand that I'm part of this. Because you say JC to them, you're making them think that they are included in something that was only given to the Israelites, but you're making them feel like this because you keep speaking the name of their idol and their deity that they worship. So what level of retardation are you operating under? Because you're ignorant to the fact that you don't even seem like you understand you're doing this. And don't tell me, well, we're doing this because, they won't understand what we mean when we say Yahawah or YAHAWASHI. Who cares? It ain't for them anyway. And anyone that is who's supposed to know it and understand this name, Yahawah and YAHAWASHI, and the writing and everything of it, they'll be, the Most High puts in their spirit, predestinated in their spirit to ask the question so they can be informed again. Can be re-informed, if you want to call that a word, which is probably not, but they can be uninformed or they can be informed. They are already uninformed. You can inform them and teach them what the sacred name is, instead of continuing to say the name of the heathens and the idols that is a mess that you got to deal with on a regular basis. I mean, you take the time, you supposedly time to study the Bible as you say you do, if you think you do. Why can't you just take the time to study to find out what the sacred name is, break it all down, and then present it to the individuals that are out there? And if some of the selected elected come through, if the Father passes selected elected through and they come by and they catch the word being said and they go, wait a minute, did I hear that person say something like that? He said God's name was Yahawah? they might, it'll spark a seed of interest in them. They'll stop, and even if they don't say anything, they may just, stay in the background, fold their arms and listen, but they could be absorbing a seed of understanding at that particular time. And then if the Most High sees fit to awaken them, and a little later on, when you're not around, maybe they'll come back by and visit you again, or they'll go to your channel and visit you again, or they'll have some questions to ask or say to you or what have you. But the point is, you so quick to force the English interpretation and Latin and Greek interpretation of the idol from your plantation Christianity based unbelief atheistic doctrine on people, because this is what you learned under, and you're willing to push that on people and try to teach the truth. Don't you realize literally when you do that? I mean, just think about this for a second before I go into the scriptures here that I got to break down, because I can't stay too long on this, because Most High got me. He's jacking me up, and yeah, I'm butthurt over the situation that's going on, because I've been slacking on not calling it out, and all the way calling it out, and that's on everything. Not saying, oh, this one organization or that one organization. No, all of it, man. All of it. It ain't no one, it's everybody. Just like Jacob's trouble is going to hit everybody in the world. It ain't going to just be on Jake. But anyway, Most High is having me call it out, and I'm getting slammed, and he's doing what he's doing to me, and I know when he gets on me and chastises me, because he's quick to get me, and I'm like, I was thinking about it. I said, man, why is he kicking my literal behind right now with pain? And I'm like, what is going on? Because I didn't feel like I was doing anything, even though I know I'm a piece of crap and just out here trying to make it like anybody else. But at the same time, I'm trying to say, what am I doing, Father, Yahawah, Shimei Shah, Shalaki, Abba Benawi, Yahawah, Shimei Shah. What's going on? What am I doing wrong? And then, he told me, he said, you holding your tongue on stuff that I need you to tell them. And I'm like, okay, I got it. I got it. Okay. Relieve my pain, I will do it. So anyway, and it's starting to become better. I mean, let me say that. But bottom line is, we don't love him enough. Because if you really love him more than you love your organizations, then you would clearly understand the predestination process that we are in and around, and it trumps everything that's going on in this fallen state. Father's cleaning up. That's why the lesson is Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. Mystery Babylon's going down right on schedule. Everything's right on schedule, man. Everything that's happening with the MOTB getting ready to come on board because of the Orange Demon that's just doing all kinds of stuff with other nations and all kinds of crazy things that's going on as that's being rolled out, and he's rolling out with that evil Elon devil. It's all on schedule, man. It's happening exactly perfectly in line with what the Most High is doing, the way he's supposed to doing it. And the scripture tells us that we're supposed to count it all joy when we fall into diverse temptations and different temptations and what have you. And the temptations is not the singing group. It's the temptation of the fact that you're being exposed to the activities of the Father as he's shutting things down through Yahawah, through Yahawah Shemel Shah, through Yahawah and the angels. Of things are getting shut down, and things are being put through that burger grinder. And as the Most High starts to turn that handle and things start to get grinded up, there's a multitude of different things that are being put in that grinder. And it's a patient process. And see, I was just talking about this the other day, when me and the lovely loved one were talking about it, and I was saying that who has more patience than anything in creation? And that's our Father, who's above creation, of course. But he has more patience. He's very patient in terms of the way that he's dealing with us, with the heathens, with nature, in terms of creation. He's very patient. He's long-suffering. And his patience is his power. Just like what Yahawashi came in, his patience and his humility was his power from the Father. Why don't we learn learn to really mirror Hamashiach in terms of being patient with the way he's taking down this system, as far as, Babylon's going down right on schedule. Why aren't we patient with the fact that we should be joyful of what's happening, instead of complaining about what the Israelites are doing, those that are supposedly in the truth, and going out and operating under different types of lasciviousness and all kinds of abominable activities and what have you, which is all part of the process that we have to be exposed to. We have to get a perceived understanding of what we're seeing. We all have to see this, because this is what the Father is showing us. He's showing us these signs. He's showing us just like the curses that are on us, in terms of those of us that have not come full on into the truth. They still have a multitude of the curses that they have to deal with and battle with consistently. We all have to deal with them to an extent because of the fallen state, but at the same time, you can have some alleviation from the curses that are on the Israelites if you understand the clue process on how the Most High YAHAWASHI, he presents information that you are going through. In other words, what he's taking you through and he's navigating you through this process. And as he's navigating you through this process, what you are encountering is the ability to kind of try to bypass some of the wrath of the Father in terms of its fullness, the fullness of his wrath. We can't bypass it all because we're in the flesh and we're in the fallen state, and in these chains of darkness, these vessels that we're in at this time here, you can't avoid everything. But the Father is giving you clues that you should pick up on and attach yourself spiritually through the Ruach HaKodesh to him. And when you attach yourself spiritually through the Ruach HaKodesh, to the Father, through praise, worship, and prayer. Let me say that again, because I think there's a lot of people. What's my camera doing? Let me get that a little bit more. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. Is that right? That was a little bit crooked. All right. Okay. Let me. Shalaki. I got a little camera issue here. Let me get right. Okay, right there. Okay. As I said, through praise, worship, and prayer, you can get some alleviation from the Most High, right? You can get some alleviation from the Most High through praise, worship, and prayer to navigate through the wrath that he's bringing down on the entire world system. And this is a process and a point where the curses that are on the Israelites, and of course any of the nations that are already scheduled for this level of judgment and participation, you don't have to be subject to the full measure of the Father's wrath, because you're being obedient to him in a way where what you're doing is you understand that he wants the first love, the highest love, and he wants that level of respect to be consistent in terms of speaking his sacred name and the Son's sacred name during the course and scope of your presenting information to the sheep and to those of the elect that are scheduled to pick this up. This is the level of discipline that you should be operating under. No organization, no church, no camp, no one else should be getting the emphasis and the honor and the respect at the level that the Father gets. His level is way and above and beyond all that. So giving his name and declaring that he is the one that is complete control of everything, and puppetizing and directing everything that's happening in your entire life, in everything that moves, everything that exists, is the matter of respect that he's looking for from you to navigate you through the wrath that he's bringing down on the entire world system through, of course, YAHAWASHI and Mystery Babylon going down right on schedule. And this is what he's doing. But if you've taken say, well, we're only talking to the elect. Well, that shouldn't affect the way you present the truth. If I say something, if I just say call hello YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI, Barakatah YAHAWASHI YAHAWASHI, and that's all I say, and then I say, well, if you didn't understand it, that's too bad, because guess what? I'm only talking to the elect. Well, that's true, but at the same time, understand that the elect are in the transition process of waking up to a degree in many areas. Some of them are understanding what is being presented to their mindset by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. In other words, they may understand that in their mindset, well, this sounds like who I am as a person, a Hebrew, and also, an Israelite. And see, the stages of their awakening has a lot to do with your presentation, because the Most High has given you and armed you with the ability to do that. That's why I read Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 10, because down there where in 10 where I went to Jeremiah 1, as I said here, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms to root out, see, and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant. So he's doing that with the individuals that the Most High has deemed as being the prophets and the seers and the teachers, and those individual servants and individuals that are to present information that is truthful. Not now, if you're presenting information that's based on religious practitioner systems of false beliefs and things that are loosely based on the truth and made up, that's also part of the deception. The Father is in control of all sides. If it's a false prophet, he sent him. If it's a true prophet, he sent him. He's controlling both sides. This is our Father plays both sides. Can many people do that? I don't think anyone can do it even close to what Yahweh does. And I know that that's the case. And if you say you can, then you're a big old blasphemer. And guess what? He'll address that with you. But the bottom line is real simple. Everything has been preordained and predestined. Those that are going to make it, those that are not going to make it. When they're going to make it and when they're not. The issues of life and unaliving and death are in the hands of the Most High himself. He controls that. No one else. So if you adhere to the way that he has set things up, then you'll be operating more closely to being navigated through the wrath as much as possible based on your condition and your position. So what are you supposed to do? Well, first and foremost, let's line it up. First thing is you have to know the real accurate sacred name. That's very, very important. That's the first thing that anybody should know if the Father's bringing them along in the awakening and in the dry bones and the sinews and everything coming back on them so they can actually start breathing, So you have to first and foremost have the accurate sacred name. I was listening to Apostle Ramlam today when he was doing a walk and talk, him and one of the bishops, and they were talking about the fact that many people are don't know the sacred name and they're not using it correctly, and they're coming up with all kinds of other names like Yahweh and Yahuwah and Yeshua and just Ahayas and all kinds of weirdo names, and they believe that that's the truth. But he was saying, which was very important, is you notice that they don't have anything else in reference to directions in the truth or deeper understandings of what's going on in the Word. And most of the ones who are into the other names that they're using, in the being Yah Israelites or whatever, you notice they're very limited, and they depend on the supremacy of those individuals that culture of individuals, the YTs that that have been given puppetized ability to control the narrative at this time. And they lean heavily on the aspects of their interpretation and their definitions. And they don't question it. But if we say something as the Israelites, the true bloodline of what it is, they try to drag us through everything they could possibly drag us through in order to defy what we're telling them as the truth. But then they won't really study it out. And then when they do study it out, they don't come back and like, we don't need your apology, but they don't even come back and validate that, yeah, what you were saying is true. They still try to go and disprove the truth of what you've been told to them with the definitions of the devils that told them that. It was a thing that I had pulled up, I was looking at on Instagram. I know I saved it, but it says something about, I don't think I can repeat it all the way, but I'll try. It says something about you love your enemy and you follow and try to bring salvation to your enemy, but your enemy doesn't want you to receive any salvation here or anywhere else. And so it's something like that, but it's true. Why? Because the Most High programmed your mindset to think that he's all love, and he programmed your mindset to think that you should offer your enemy some form of acceptance in terms of the world that is being given to you in salvation, no matter what they've done to you. And when we tell you that that's not the nature of the way the Father operates, you get pissed off at us and you want to go and throw us under the bus, go crazy, which doesn't make any sense. But it makes perfect sense, Shalaki. It makes perfect sense if you're spiritually blocked to this degree. So as we listen and look at people and follow YAHAWASHI, and as he directs us through all these presentations of all these podcast TikTok pod people coming out, and they all have a word to say and something to complain about and some rejection towards the truth and the Israelites and everyone else, and bringing this forward and that backwards, and it's everywhere. I say to you, which Father told me to tell you, he's doing it. It's as simple as that. He's the one that's doing it. So if it irritates you that individuals are coming out and speaking against the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites of the chosen, those individuals that are at the level where they understand the truth as it be told in truth, if it offends you that they're doing this and they're coming out, then why? Because the Father's doing it. It shouldn't offend you. You should say, wow, that's what the Father's doing now. Look at this. Whoa, I can't wait to see what he's going to do next with all of the nations and creation of the world. I can't wait to see what he's going to do next. I'm counted joy. I'm happy. I'm wonderful. I'm elated, because the more things become completely unstable to the degree of it's just beyond what we can imagine, that's our cue to say, hey, we're gonna be out of here. This is what we're talking about. So I mean, if you can't relegate that situation and understand it and how it goes, then he's got you spiritually blocked in that capacity. And hey, you're gonna have to deal with it because you can't stop him. He ain't gonna stop doing it just because you don't like it. He ain't been doing it for me, so he ain't gonna stop doing it for you. All right, I gotta get my glasses so I should have thought about that, right? Before I could continue to read. Shalaki, give me a minute. I know where I put it back, and I'll be right with you. And we're gonna get right into scripture. All right. Shalaki, shalom. I'm back. I had to get my glasses so the old man can see what's going on here. All right. Time to get into it. Yeah. We're going to start out again. All right. You know me. I like to go to the old to bring out the new for you. We're going to start in Daniel. I know. See, this is what I'm saying. If you're not delving in prophecy, then one of the things that's pretty clear is you don't know this Bible, you don't know this word, and you're not going to be able to bring out the truth. So we're going to start Daniel chapter 9, all right? And why we're going there is this is a prayer for his people. Now, the reason why I'm going to Daniel, and I'm going to go from Daniel into Jeremiah, from Jeremiah into Revelation, and then from Revelation, I'm going to bring out Psalms as well, because I have to do a breakdown here of why we're on schedule for Babylon that's going down in a schedule. And we're going to talk about in Revelation 9, we're at 27 is what, of course, is the precept that I'm going to draw off of, okay? All right. Now, of course, in Daniel, first and foremost, just to do a synopsis, because it's a lot, and I can't cover the whole chapter because you'll be here till tomorrow. In Daniel's prayer for his people, he's going to talk about, during the time of Darius and Ashurius and the seed of the Medes, as far as which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans. And of course, the first year of the reign of Daniel, he said, I, Daniel, by the books, I'm reading on verse 2. In the first year of his reign, I, Daniel, understood by books the number of the years whereof the word of Yahawah came to Jeremiah the prophet, that he would accomplish 70 years in the desolation of Jerusalem. And that also adheres to the northern kingdom in terms of the Assyrian captivity in the time that they spent, but we're not going to play too far into that. Let me go ahead and move forward. And he said, on 4, he said, and I prayed unto Yahawah my power, and made my confession, and said, O Lord, the great and dreadful power, El Shaddai, right? Dreadful power, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him, and to them that keep his commandments. See? So you keep what you're taught and understand how it works. He says, we have sinned and have committed, this was 5, we have sinned and have committed iniquity, and have done wickedly, and have rebelled, even by departing from the precepts and from thy judgments. See, and this is what the Father has said, you got to bring this out, because right now, this is what your brothers and your Achium and your Aquafium and those individuals that are waking up are doing. And they say that they're in line, but they're not, because the Father's not happy with that, right? And he says, okay, Shalaki, precepts and from thy judgments, and this was 6, neither have we hearkened unto thy servants, the prophets. See? Now, we know that they're not hearkening unto the servants of the prophets, because the prophets that are bringing out the sacred name in truth are the ones that are accurate in terms of bringing the truth out. And no one's really hearkening to them except for those that the Father has selected, elected, and touched them, and they're waking up in fashion. Thy servant, the prophets, which spake in thy name to our kings, our princes, and our fathers, and to all the people of the land. And this, of course, this is the highways and byways, and then the heavy lifting on the informational highway of the unicorn that they have been speaking to as to the prophets have been speaking to the kings and the princes of this world, in terms of those individuals that the Most High has puppetized in place that are actually doing things in this world right now, and they are anointed to do so. As I said before, and as the Father said, Yahawashi is coming back to take this system down. Who has to be in charge when Yahawashi comes through? It's not us. So it's got to be Esau, Edom, and those devils. So they got to still, no matter how much you hate which you should have a disdain for them, like the Father says he has indignation against them forever. You should have it because that's what he does. You love who he loves, you hate who he hates. But the bottom line is they're going to be in power at the end, so they're not going to go off the map until he's ready for them to be completed. So you could cry and bitch all you want about what they're doing, but they're all scheduled to do this stuff. Your job should be do your presentation of the information you're given. Don't try to pass too much on to the brethren and the sheep about your discomfort. Count it all joy and show them that they need to learn, earn, and earn, and learn the understanding. Yearning, learning, one of my groups are like, yearn and learn the understanding of what you to do to be navigated through this raft and process as things are going. That's all. So and this says, of course, back at 6 again, hearken to, neither have we hearkened unto thy servants, the prophets, right? Which spake in the name, the true name, not the fake names and the made up stuff and the things that people feel like they want to call the Most High because he got you doing that. If he got you on if you're a Yah Israelite, if he got you on Yahuwahs and Yeshuas and Yeshuas and Yahwehs and stuff, he's got you on that those fake names. He's got you on that blindness. He's put you in that position, and you should be trying to figure out why. I've talked to people many times on the chat boards and TikTok and told them, I said, there's no U's, no V's, no E's, you know what I'm saying? No J's in the Paleo Hebrew alphabet. But these idiots continue to still say, oh, it's Yahuwah. Really? They even admit they know it's no letters like that in the alphabet, but they still say it. So that's what the Most High's got you spiritually blocked at that level, and this is what you're doing. Hey, let me keep moving. And so the kings and princes unto our fathers and to all the people of the land, 7, O Lord, righteousness belongeth unto thee, but unto us confusion of faces as this day to the men of Judah and to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, all of Israel, and unto all Israel that are near and that are far off through all the counties whether thou hast driven them because of their trespass that they have trespassed against thee. See, you're being spiritually blocked and you're put in confusion because you're not picking up the clues that the Father has given you so you can be navigated in the right fashion, in the right way. And then we're at 8. O Lord, to us belongeth confusion of face, to our kings, to our princes, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against thee. Now, he said confusion of faces twice. Now, I know we used to talk about confusion of faces is similar to the fact that what we're trying to also say is that, we're going to look like many other nations. Now, that has some merit, but here in this particular case, that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about being confusion of faces, meaning you do not know who you should serve and how you should serve him. You don't know how to serve the Most High. You have no inkling or idea. And as we tried to show you this through knowing the sacred name, you want to be Yah Israelites. Oh, man. Give it to him, Father. All right. 9, to the Lord our power belong mercies and forgiveness, though we have rebelled against him. Because you're not picking up his clues in reference to the information that he told you you're supposed to work through. 10, neither have we obeyed the voice of Yahawah, our power, to walk the laws, which he sent before us by his servants, the prophets. All right, 11, ye all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of Yahawah, because we have sinned against him. And the biggest sin is disobedience, because he'd rather have obedience than sacrifice. All right, 12. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us and against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem, right? Which, as you can see, apparently is the case. 13. As is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us, yet may we not out, yet made we not out prayer before Yahweh. Praise, worship, and prayer before Yahweh our power, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth. Now, you know, this is a similitude to Deuteronomy chapter 28 in terms of the curses poured upon us and everything because we disobeyed and not picking up the clues, what we didn't do in terms of going forward and presenting the Most High to the entire world, so that it would be a position where he would understand and say, hey, you know, I see now my people are picking up clues. I can navigate them in the right fashion, and we can get to the point where we can really get some things done, okay? Therefore hath the Lord, 14, therefore that the Lord have Yahweh watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. For Yahweh, our power, is righteous in all his works, which he doeth. For we obey not his voice. 15, and now, O Lord, our power, that hast brought thy people forth out of the land of Egypt with the mighty hand, and hast gotten the renown as this day. We have sinned, we have done wickedly. 16, O Lord, according to all thy righteousness, I beseech thee, let thine anger and thy fury be turned away from thy city, Jerusalem, from the people, thy holy mountain, because of our sin and for iniquities of our fathers. Jerusalem and thy people are become a reproach to all that are about us. 17. Now, therefore, O our power, hear the prayer of thy servant and his supplication, and cause thy face to shine upon thy sanctuary that is desolate for the Lord's sake. 18, O my power, incline thine ear and hear, open thine eyes, and behold our desolations and the city which is called by thy name. For we do not present our supplications before thee for our righteousness, but for thy great mercies. Now, see, the reason why I'm reading this prior to getting into the deeper portions of Babylon going down right on schedule, because all of this is prelude. It's the prelude process to the scriptures I'm bringing to talk about how Babylon's being taken down. So as Daniel is bringing this information, you know, he incorporated Jeremiah in the process of this information that's coming forward, that's talking about the timeline that the Father operates. And I was listening to Elder Malcolm from GMS Chicago, and he was talking about that, you know, we don't understand that our timeline and the Father's timeline is different in terms of a day being as 1,000 years and 1,000 years as one day. So what we need to understand is the Father's patience and long suffering in terms of the way prophecy's moving forward. And we can't make it go any faster because we have no ability to do that. But we can understand how to pick up the clues to be navigated through the process as we go forward. Okay. All right. 19. O Lord, hear. O Lord, forgive. O Lord. That's 3 times, right? For righteousness' sake. Hearken and do defer not for thine own sake, O my power, for thy city and thy people are called by thy name. So when you see that the city and the people are not called by the Most High's name, what that does is that puts us in a position to know that we're not operating under his favor at this particular time. Yes, grace we have, but the favor part of the grace is being stretched. Why? Because we're not clue solvers. We're not picking up the clues, and we keep saying things that that promote some similitude of an anonymous power that Esau is having, that Esau has, that he's doing stuff to the nations of the world and to Israel's specifically, and Israelites specifically, and it's almost it's like this feeling. The presentation is almost like it's not checked, and if it is checked and they believe that, then why aren't you speaking about how it's in check because it's being controlled by the Most High in totality, and he's puppetized to do everything he's doing? Okay, here's an example. Shocking. Use my teeth. Who owns the MOTB? Help me out. Who owns the MOTB? Who owns the mark of the beast? Who owns it? The Most High owns it. Say he doesn't, because he owns everything. Do you think the Most High has predetermined everyone that's going to take the MOTB? Absolutely. He sure has. He orchestrated and designed and already predetermined everybody that was going to take the jump shot and multiple jump shots and all the backups to it. Yes, he has. He's done that, and he's doing it all. Why would you think he's not? Okay, because see, like when we were reading Daniel 9, we got to understand the future ruler will make a covenant for a period of time. In the middle of that time, and I'm going to read this in 27 time, will he stop the sacrifices and the oblations and set up the abominations that will make the temple desolate. Now, when the wacky tackies read this, they think there's going to be some devil, some Edomite devil that's going to come out, and he's going to be some kind of anti-Hamashiach, or they say antichrist, right? And he's going to stop the sanctuary from being this. Man, the Most High already did this. The Most High already did all this. He's already stopped and polluted the sanctuary and the oblation and all of that for these devils and their religious practicing systems. Look at all the religious practicing organizations and systems that are around the world operating. All of that is completely in line with the stopping of the true sacrifices and the oblations, as far as what has set up the abominations that will make something desolate. Think about it. They do that communion thing. That consecration, they do that process. They do Sunday worship crap. They pollute the sanctuary with their lasciviousness and their activities. And actually, the Most High is not in their buildings, because you can't make any buildings with hands that the Most High would actually stay in. So all of the abomination of desolation has been in place way before this. I mean, you can go all the way back to 70 AD and talk about the abomination of desolation, which they try to mirror that and try to talk that on a surface level. They don't know the deep meaning behind it. Then you can go to Antiochus Epiphanes and the Maccabees, where it talks about the abomination of desolation that was done there, where the Israelites had to lose their identity and be called Greeks, and they poisoned the physical sanctuaries with swine. They were swining and dining and doing all kinds of crap. An abomination of desolation through their temples and their bodies of not being circumcised. So the Most High is manifold in his way of explaining the process of the abomination of desolation that is happening. All of this is the contributing factor of the title of the lesson, which is YAHAWASHI, right? Mystery Babylon is going down right on schedule. Every single one of the things through history, all the way down the line, have been put on schedule through prophecy, spirit of prophecy, YAHAWASHI, and each sequence of each of the attributes of what has been going down. It has been Babylon, from the beginning Babylon, from old, all the way up to Mystery Babylon to date, to the daughter of Babylon, which we'll talk about in Psalm 137 as well, is all on schedule and all going down right now. Right on schedule, right on time. And I jump for joy and love the Most High as I can jump for joy and praise, worship, and pray that he's doing it and that he's allowing me to see it and be part of understanding how to present information about it. Who else is doing that? Everybody else seemingly, what are they doing? Oh, I'm complaining because the Most High got bug out saying Israelites ain't right. Man, the hell with that. Let's give some edification on some stuff that's really relevant in terms of what's going on. Teaching and sparking the presentation of giving the elect and the selected elect what they should be understanding about the navigation that the Father's taking us through in this timeline, because everything's been predetermined for the foundation of the world. This is what they should be hearing. Tell them that everything's been predetermined. Tell them that everything's predestinated so that they can get in line and start doing what? Presenting this also to those that need to hear it, so the Most High will spark them and wake them up. But whatever the Most High is doing with his creation, that's his business. If he wants to F them up, that's his deal. If he wants to bug them out, that's his deal. If he wants to bug you out, that's his deal. But how much of that do you really want to be involved with? I'd rather be involved with the process that he's showing, the timeline that he's pushing, and getting navigated through it with joy that we're almost there. So what? He's tearing everything down. So, I worked in construction as a superintendent and project manager at points when I was a little early on in my age. We had to do remodels, okay, of buildings and stuff, right? Now, sometimes, you got an old building structure that's really sound. It's a good foundational structure, but you got to do a remodel, which means you have to go in and you got to tear everything out and tear everything down and just leave the shell so that you can rebuild that up. And then it comes back as a new facility that looks like they put that up from scratch. That we put it up from the ground foundational level up. Now, sometimes, we do have to tear the whole thing down. The whole structure has to be completely taken down. Dig up the foundation, and then rebuild the foundation, and in terms of putting in the new brick and mortar and concrete, and then raise the whole structure back up, and then go ahead and build it out. Yes, that's true, but sometimes it's a remodel, and the remodel process can be taken into consideration when you have a situation where you have to go in and see the areas that need to be corrected and need to be foundationally secured, foundationally reset. And that's a remodel process that you have to go through. Now, this is kind of what the Most High is doing with us, because each phase of the Babylonian periods of time that are being taken down around the world, it shows you the next level and schedule of what Babylonian process will be up, and then it comes down. And we're at that stage right now at about 250 years, I think, about that, somewhere in between or close, that this kingdom is circling the drain, and the Most High is about to flush it. So we need to be rejoicing about that and paying our privilege to it and homage to it. Verse 20 on Daniel 9. Now we're talking about Gabriel brings an answer. The angel Gabriel bringing an answer, right? And while I was speaking and praying, no doubt praise, worship, and praying, and confessing my sin and the sin of my people, Israel, and presenting my supplication. You see what I'm saying? The spirit is the Ruach HaKodesh is off the chart, man. When he starts kicking my ass, it's off the chart. Look right here. Let me read that again for the spiritually, mentally slow people that are teetering on retardation. Let me read this for you again so that you can hear this precept on 20. Get this precept, write it down, and then marinate on it a while. On 20, before we even get to 27. Marinate on this one. Okay, I mean, that means like make sure it goes over and over and over in your mind so you think about all the ways it applies to what you're doing right now. And whilst I was speaking, comma, see, a lot of times what we're doing, even myself, I'm speaking. Am I really thinking carefully about what I'm saying when I'm speaking? Because a lot of times we don't. We speak and we sound like we have an affinity for Esau Edom. That we love something about him. We have this hidden love because we big him up like he's got so much freaking power, which he don't. But the power is the Most High's. Now, you know, when I say certain stuff they don't like, they're going to shadow ban me, so just deal with it. Okay, now here's the thing. Think carefully. And whilst I was speaking and praying, now you know, when they put that praying in, it's you know you're supposed to have praise, worship, and praying. You need all three and be wrapped in repentance, right? Okay? And confessing. See, that's the repenting area. See, that's why you know they left out the praise and the worship. Then they just put the praying in there. Because when you praying, you just asking and begging for something. But what are you giving the Most High in return when you should be giving him worship and praise? That's how he reacts to what you really are going to get from him. All right, and I ain't taking away or putting it in, but I'm telling you, just praise, worship, and praying, and confessing my sin and the sin of my people, Israel, and presenting my supplication before Yahawah, my power, for the holy mountain of my power. Now, the mountains, of course, that gives a similitude to nations, a very large group, right? You need to clock this one on 20. Make a marker in your Bible, highlight it big time, put some stars next to it. You know, when I'm talking about the asterisk symbols for, you know, to emphasize, you need to go over it. 21. Yea, whilst I was speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, see, there he is, the angel Gabriel, whom I had seen in the vision at the beginning, being caused to fly swiftly, touched me about the time of the evening oblation. See, so that evening oblation, when you were giving up that respect, that high level of respect to the Most High, you got touched, right? All right. And he informed me and talked with me and said, "O Daniel, I am now come forth to give thee skill and understanding." Are you getting that? Are you getting that from any of the prophets or the servants or the teachers that are giving you anything? At the beginning of my supplication, right? At the beginning of my supplication, the commandment came forth, and I am come to show thee, for thou art greatly beloved. Therefore, understand the matter and consider the vision. How much of us do that? How many of you do that? How many of you consider they're gonna do a little shadow banning on me? So just gonna have to deal with it. It'll come back and we'll be back in line again. So just, you know how when you say something that really gets to them, they're going to do some things to try to slow up the word, but don't worry about that. Just keep moving. Now, the next point we're going to go into before we get to 27, and then we get to the next chapter in Daniel, and I'm going to chapter 11, so be ready to go there, and then we're going to 12 too. But let me go ahead and talk about, now we got the 70 weeks here, and the Mashiach, okay? So the 70 weeks in scripture leads up to the Mashiach, but all the wacky tackies will teach you all kinds of weird stuff and all kinds of blasphemous, loosely interpreted versions of what they're talking about here in terms of trying to outline what the 70 weeks mean, in terms of the shepherds in the 70 weeks and everything that's associated with it. Don't let them get you all freaking confused, okay? Don't pay attention to these devils. They'll get you messed up, okay? It's lucky. All right, here we go. 24. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish the transgression, to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation. See, we're in the ministry of reconciliation now. You can't be reconciled to something that you weren't part of from the beginning. So all you devils and you idiots out here that think that you're going to, oh, I chose JC and I confessed my sins to JC and now I chose him. Well, guess what? You can have JC and that idol because it ain't got nothing to do with us. That's not where we're at. For iniquity, Shalaki, to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy. See what I'm saying? And to anoint the most holy. See, don't lose the fact that it says here, everlasting righteousness, to bring in everlasting righteousness and to seal up the vision and prophecy. Why is that important? Because this is what we should be addressing right now. Everything is hinged on and operating under prophecy right now. Before the veil was rent, we were leading up to a portion of the prophecy moving not as fast, but after that point in time, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, now it's flying in terms of prophecy, and it's moving extremely fast. 25, all right? Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Mashiach, the prince, shall be 70 weeks, right? And 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall, even in troublous times. After 62 weeks shall Mashiach be cut off, but not for himself, and the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with a flood, and unto the end of the war desolations are determined. Okay, now we're going to get to 27 and then we're going to come and pop. But see, that 70 weeks is a similitude of the fact that we have a specific amount of time that's in prophecy that speaks to each phase that we work through. Okay, and a lot of us don't understand sacrifice is contingent in terms of Yahawashi and then his crucifixion. After his crucifixion, him raising, once the Father raised him, and then the Pentecostal process is given in terms of the Comforter, and then Yahawashi going back to the Father and saying he's accomplished the first portion of it that you see in John 17, when he talks about all of those that you've given me in your name, I've kept them, and I've kept them in your name, and they have kept your name, and they're doing the work, protect them. So these 70 weeks is contingent upon that portion happening all the way up to this point now, and we're getting there. Now, 27, and he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, and in the midst of the week, he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease, and for the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate, even unto the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. So as we know, this is a process that has already been taking place, and it's in a cycle of continuous process right now, because the religious organizations that we see at this present time are they're actually doing this in a cycle. They're completing this and over and over and over, and they're pouring the abominations of desolation out on the Israelites continuously at all given times. And it's overspreading of the abominations is everywhere. You see that everything that we eat, that we drink, that all of everything, the air we breathe, the things we wear, the overspreading of abominations is so absolutely complete, it's unbelievable. And this is a continuous process. Now we're going to go to 11. Okay. Conflicts. We got more conflicts to come when we're at Daniel 11, but we're going to go to Daniel 11. And this will talk more about conflicts, and when he talks about in the first year of Darius the Mede, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. And now will I show thee the truth. Behold, there shall stand up yet 3 kings in Persia, and the fourth shall be far richer than they all, and by his strength through his riches he shall stir up all against the realm of Grecia. So this is also talking about Alexander the Great, Alexander the Macedonian, and what he's going to do in Antiochus Epiphanes and everything, as I said before, that builds up to this point. So we're going to continue here. Next we're going to go down to 37, okay, which is the precept that I'm looking for. Was it 31? Yeah, 31, Shlaki. 31, which is the precept I'm looking for, right? Because let's talk about the forces from the future ruler will profane the sanctuary. And this is what we have happening right now. This is how we know that the profaning of our sanctuary currently, our bodies, our temples, the way that we're operating within the truth amongst the organizations, the camps, and the brethren that are doing the work. This is the portion that we need to understand. In 31, an arm shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. Now, why? How does that work? Because see, as soon we always talk about when the famine for the word comes forward, in terms of them using the arms against us, right? In 31, and shall stand in his part. He's puppetized to do this, and he shall pollute the sanctuary of strength. So how do you pollute the sanctuary of strength? Well, they're calling out unjust slander against the brethren, the prophets, the teachers, the servants of the YAHAWASHI. And when they call out this against us, they're actually performing this process here where it says the arm shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, because we are that strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice. Now, our daily sacrifice is being taken away is us doing this work in the manner in which we're doing it out here, whether we're doing it on the internet or on the highways and byways, or in any capacity where you have the freedom to be able to speak this truth out here. And shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. Now, how do they do that? Well, when they replace it, they mean when they put you on lockup and lockdown, and they say that you can't do it, and then they say, well, if you go against Christianity, or if you go against the small hats and their anti-Semitic activities, then what they're doing is they're putting a lockdown on the abomination of desolation, and maketh it desolate, so that we can't even speak about these things in the way that we should or we could. But that's the Most High. Again, as I said, the Father is doing all of this. This is the whole process that has to move forward, and we have to understand this is the direction it goes in. And that was Daniel 11:30-31. Now we're going to Daniel 12:11. Now, of course, this is the time of the end. That's why he gave me these precepts to go in this fashion, to take it from this point here, where we go into Daniel, which is prophetically in a historical timeline of Babylon and the activities of Babylon. And then we're going to move through Daniel all the way till we get to Jeremiah. And then through Jeremiah, we're going to move, as I said, down into Revelation, and then, of course, in Psalms, and we'll be ready to come out of this. Just wanted to give you the timeline of how Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI's Mystery Babylon's going down right on schedule, okay? So, now, we're at 12, so we know here, Daniel chapter 12. Now, I love Daniel chapter 12, because this is during at the end, in the time when Michael comes to stand up for the people and fight for us in the time of trouble, which is something that we love and we want to hear, and that's why I'm going to read it right at the top first to give you that, and before I go down to 11, all right? Or I'll just read to 11. That's how the Spirit wants to roll with this. So let's just see where we're going to go, all right? Let's just do that at this point. Shlaki, what am I doing here? Let me get this off of me for a minute. All right, got it, Shlaki. All right, Daniel chapter 12, starting at verse 1. And in that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people, that's us Israelites, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation ever to that same time, and that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. So that also encompasses Revelation in terms of the book. It also encompasses Jeremiah in 30 in terms of the time of Jacob's trouble. And it also talks to Revelation 6 and 7. So we're going to go down to 2. Now it says, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. 3, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many of righteous to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. 4, but thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end, which is where we are now. And many shall run to and fro, which we see happening. That's why you get your Yah Israelites and your Yahuwahs and Yeshuas and your Yahwehs. They're running to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. And they think they have that knowledge. 5, then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other 2 and 1 on this side of the bank and the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. 6, and one said to the man clothed in linen, Yahawashi, Hamashiach, was upon the waters of the river. How long shall it be to the end of these wonders? 7, and I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time and times and a half, and when he shall have accomplished it, shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. Now you see this is coming to fruition because we've been scattered, and the times and times and a half are popping like crazy. 8, and I heard, but I understood not. Then said, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things? 9, and he said, go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end, which we see now. 10, many shall be purified. How many times has he had me do lessons on the purification and cleansing process, which you have to have in order to inherit the kingdom of heaven, which nothing that's a heathen can be purified. You hear that? No heathens, male or female, can be purified. Not for salvation and everlasting salvation that happens to the Israelites to be in the kingdom within the inner court. No heathens. Okay? Remember that. And many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. Okay? And that's what that says, right? The wise shall understand. 11, and from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days, right? Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to the 1,305 and 30 days, which is where we are at this time. We're cruising right through this. But go thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot, that the end of the days. Now, when you go and rest, and he's in the spirit world, and stand in thy lot, I say all the time, you might be from my loins, but that don't mean you in my lot. And y'all need to take that into consideration, because y'all can't handle me, because I go as long as the Most High has me go. And sometimes that messes with you, be like, oh, this lesson so long. Well, if you ain't here to learn and you ain't here to pick up on the truth of what's going on, then I tell you what, go somewhere else. If you stay this long, you can stay for the rest. Okay, so now we're going to the book Jeremiah. To get to this. Boy, oh boy. Prophecy against Babylon. The word of Yahweh spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Now, this is a similar to where we are right now in the land of the Chaldeans, because these devils have incorporated the same types of mannerisms and belief systems, as well as the practices in their religious formations of the Chaldeans and the Canaanites. Okay. Okay. Declare ye among the nations, and publish and set up the standard, publish and conceal not, say Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. So now we're going to see the multitude of what's happening with Bel and Merodach. This is a combination of a hodgepodge of all these different belief systems and deities that are in this area of Babylon. Babylon, just like right now, is incorporating every wicked thing you can think of in terms of a belief system and a practice, and anything that they call a religious organization or a religious process that they're involved with. You have Bel and Merodach and all of that crap going on here. All right. It says confounded, her images and broken in pieces. 3, for out of the north there come up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall depart, man and beast, in those days and in that time, saith Yahweh. The children of Israel shall come, and they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping, they shall go and seek Yahweh their power. Now we talk about all this all the time. In fact, me and the lovely one, we talk about it. We say, hey, look, they're gonna call on the Most High name. They're gonna cry out when He shut everything down, and when He really shuts everything off, and He really starts dropping the hammer on them. They're going to depart, both man and beast, in those days. And in that time, saith Yahweh, the children of Israel shall come, and the children of Judah together, going and weeping, and they shall go and seek Yahweh their power. And you know what? He gonna laugh at their calamity on a lot of them. 5, they shall ask the way of Zion with their faces featherward, saying, come and let us join ourselves to Yahweh in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. And see, that's what you want, but you still didn't pick up the clues. 6, my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. Can't you see this? And this is across the board with religious practitioners and Israelites are supposed to be in the truth. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. 7, all that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they have sinned against Yahweh. See, and they know we have. The inhabitants of the habitation of justice, even Yahweh, in the hope of their fathers. 8, remove out of the midst of Babylon, and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as the goats before the flocks. And then you see these goats is rolling out. Man, these devils are crazy, including some of the goats of the Israelites that are still blinded, as Hellenized Israelites don't know who they are. 9, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from, this is what you got happening now with the orange demon, from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. And see, this is when we talk about this, we're talking about Mystery Babylon, the mother of all harlots, which is over in the area where before these devils got to this continent over here, because this is the daughter of these devils everywhere they spread around the world. Against her, from thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And when those missiles come, that is correct. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied. saith Yahweh. 11, because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine inheritance, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and the bellows as bulls. 12, your mother shall be sore confounded. See, that's that mother Europe, right? Europe, so-called, right? She that beareth you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindmost of the nations shall be a wilderness. See that? A dry land and a desert. Because of the wrath of Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at her, at all her plagues. See, this is what you have coming now. 14, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against Yahweh. All the missiles are coming in this direction for both of those Babylonian locations. 15, shout against her round about. She hath given her hand, her foundations are fallen. See, her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh taketh vengeance upon her, as she hath done do unto her. Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handeth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people. See that, to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land. See, you already see this is happening now. Like I said, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, Mystery Babylon going down right on schedule. 17, Israel is scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First, the king of Assyria has devoured him, and last, this Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, hath broken his bones. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the power of Israel, behold, I will punish the king of Babylon and his land, and I have punished the king of Assyria. And that's all happening again. See, this is all manifold. Remember, it doesn't mean that it happened just then and it's not still building towards this, because it is. Okay? 19, and I will bring Israel again to his habitation, and he shall feed on camel and Bashan, and his soul shall be satisfied upon Mount Ephraim and Galilee. Now, again, we don't eat camel. That is an unclean animal, and we don't eat Bashan either. Okay, because Bashan is something, I don't know exactly what that is, but I know it can't be clean, because why would they put camel and Bashan in there? Those are unclean. You got to remember who puts stuff in here sometimes, and we got to be careful of that. Okay. 20, in those days and in that time, saith Yahweh, the iniquity of Israel shall be sought for, and there shall be none, and the sins of Judah, and they shall not be found, for I will pardon them whom I reserve. So he's deciding who he's going to pardon and who he will reserve, right? Shalaki, we're getting close. 21, go up against the land of Marathon, even against it, and against the inhabitants of Pekod, waste and utterly destroy after them, saith Yahweh, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. So we're going up against all of the Medes and the Persians, and we're going and all those kingdoms, and we're going up against all of the individuals who are the Pekod. Oh yeah. Against Pekod and Put, which would be the Ishmaelites and all of the Arabs and these individuals, right? 22. A sound of battle is in the land. This is 22. Land and of great destruction. 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become desolation among the nations? Well, you see that's happening right now in terms of how Esau's being destroyed, confused, and taken down. His hammer is becoming old, rusty, and not very strong. I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware that art found, and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh. 25, Yahweh hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord power of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. 26, come against her from the uttermost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly, and let nothing of her be left. 27, slay all her bullocks, let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, and their time of their visitations. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion the vengeance of Yahweh our power, and the vengeance of his temple. Call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none therefore escape. Recompense her according to the work, according to all that she hath done. Do unto her, for she has been proud against Yahweh, against the Holy One of Israel. So you can see all recompense and everything will be taken care of and will be repaid. The Most High is not playing anymore. And that's why I keep saying over and over again, praise, worship, and prayer with repentance without ceasing, man, because its time is up. 30, therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith Yahweh. 31, behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, saith Lord power, the Lord of hosts. For thy day is come, and time that I will visit thee. 32, and the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast, that refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh of hosts is his name, and he shall thoroughly plead their cause, and he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. 35, a sword is upon the Chaldeans, saith Yahweh, and upon the inhabitants of Babylon, and upon his princes, and upon her wise men. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon the mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. 37, a sword is upon the horses, and that's their power in terms of their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her. And they shall become as women, as a sword is upon their treasures, and they shall be robbed. 38, a drought is upon the waters, and they shall be dried up, for it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. As you can see, all of this is detailing the attributes of what is happening as the Most High is taking down Babylon right on schedule. Therefore, the wild beast of the desert with the the wild beast of the desert with the wild beast of the islands shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. So you can see the Most High is going to be taking this location in this area down, and we can see how clearly it's happening. 40, as Yahweh overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, and the neighboring cities thereof, saith Yahweh. So shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. 41, behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance, and are cruel, and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, every one put in array, like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. See, now it's talking about this location over here. Okay, so you can see how it transitions from the mother of Babylon to the daughter of Babylon, which is this location here, right? The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took a hold of him, and pains as of a woman in travail. 44, behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. But I will make, and who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? Question. For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? Question. And who is that shepherd that will stand before me? YAHAWASHI. Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh, that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. You see this happening with the small house. Draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the city is heard among the nations. See, so as we're saying, we're breaking down this process of Babylon going through this. Next, we're going right to 51. All right, we're going to read some of 51 as well before we get to Revelation, and we're going to wrap it up in Revelation and, of course, in Psalms, right? So let me just grab Psalms before I go to 51, because this fits right in there. Let me go here and go to Psalms for a minute. Psalms 137, and I want 8, right? Yeah. Let me see. Where is it at? There it is. And it reads, Psalms 137. At the top, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. For there they carried us away captive, required of us as a song, and they that wasted us required us of mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. This is what these devils was talking about, right? How shall we sing the Lord Yahweh's song in the strange land? 5. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. 6. If I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to thy roof of my mouth. If I prefer not Jerusalem above my chief joy. 7. Remember, O Yahweh, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. 8. O daughter of Babylon, who art Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee, as thou hast served us. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stone. This is exactly what we had to deal with. So we need to remember that in terms of what we're dealing with as the schedule of Babylon going down is in play. Babylon judged for sins against Israel. This is 51, Jeremiah chapter 51. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them, that rise up against me, a destroying wind, chariots, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. And you can see that happening with the nations now. This is what they're doing. They're getting all messed up to the point where they're coming at the daughter of Babylon, and they're coming down pretty quick and pretty fast, just like prophecy says. May seem a little slow, but it's rolling. Okay? Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his branding, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. For thus slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. 5. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah his power of Yahawah of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. That's what's coming, baby. And like I said, it's going down on schedule. 7. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand, that made all the earth drunken, and the nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be Shalaki, if so be she Shalaki, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let her go, every one unto his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up to the skies. This is what you see in the first one when I read in 50. Yahawah hath brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of Yahawah, our power. 11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. Yahawah hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon. See that? Russia's coming, baby, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of Yahawah, the vengeance of the temple, it's the vengeance of God. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, Shalaki. For Yahawah hath both devised and done that which is spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. 13. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. Yahawah of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. He hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world by his wisdom, and has stretched out the heavens by his understanding. I love it. Fire. 16. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causeth the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings with rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasures. 17. Every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image, for his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. 18. They are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the time former of all things. And Israel is the rod of his inheritance, and Yahawah of hosts is his name. See, Yahawah of hosts is his name. Okay? Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. See, this is telling you, man, everything is perfectly right on schedule. I love it. Absolutely. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and the rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and the rider. See, them chariots is coming and they're going to do it, man. With thee also will I break in pieces man and women. With thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young men and the maid. 23, I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and the flock, and with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. 24, I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of the Chaldean all their evil and they have done in Zion in your sight, saith Yahawah. 25, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith Yahawah, which destroyeth all the earth, and I will stretch out mine hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rock, and will make thee a burnt mountain. See, you saw my image on the you saw my image on the post, right? Set ye up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Iraq and Mene and Ashkenaz, appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. 28, prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes and the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. 29, and the land shall terrible and sorrow, for every purpose of Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land Babylon a desolation without an inhabitants. 30, the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might hath failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. 31, one post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end. 32, and that the passengers are stopped, and that the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war are affrighted. 33, for thus saith Yahawah of hosts, the power of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her, yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. See, that's scheduled. That's right on schedule. Let me read that one again. For thus saith Yahawah of hosts, the power of Israel, the daughter of this country, right here, this land, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. You know, a threshing floor, they're going to tear it up. And it is time to thresh her. Set a little while. See, the scheduling, set a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. This is the schedule that I was trying to tell you about that's happening with her, right? Let me read a little bit more. One more. 34, Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, hath devoured me. He hath crushed me. He hath made me an enemy vessel. He hath swallowed me up like a dragon. He hath filled his belly with my delicacies. He hath cast me out. And see, This is what's coming, right? And the violence done to me and to my flesh be upon Babylon, shall the inhabitants of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of the Chaldee shall Jerusalem say. Thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will plead thy cause and take vengeance for thee, and I will dry up her seas and make her springs dry. And Babylon shall become heaps, and the dwelling place of dragons, an astonishment and a hissing without any inhabitants. You see what I'm saying? So we won't stop at 37 there, but as you can see, everything's right on schedule. I mean, on schedule to the max. All right, now we're going to go to Revelation, okay? And we get ready to wrap it up. All right, we're doing good. We're doing good. Doing good. Call YAHAWASHI. We're doing good. All right, I got Revelation 17. Let me wrap this up. The doom of Babylon. And it reads at the top. And there came of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, many nations, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit unto the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting upon a scarlet colored beast, full of the names of the blasphemy, having 7 heads and 7 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colors, and decked with the gold and with the precious stones and the pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of the abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of all harlots and the abomination of the earth. See? Right on schedule. Woo-wee. Salaki. And I saw a woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of YAHAWASHI. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. So why would you be admiring? But that's what they're doing, right? That's what Most High got them doing. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? Why you got admiration for this? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which have the 7 heads and the 10 horns. And the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go in perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose name were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. So basically, what Most High is locking us in to understand that all of everything from the first Babylonian period of time was all on schedule to follow through towards the end period of time in Revelation, as you can see here, and build all the way up to the end in the book of Obadiah, which is really a mystery to a lot of people because of the way that it came about and was brought out, because it brings and encompasses a lot of the Babylonian, the Babylonian and Babylon types of periods of time that are going to go down ever since the 70 AD and before then, from the foundation of the world, because everything's been predestined to follow in that sequence, in that pattern, and the schedule was absolutely perfect all the way up through Revelation 17 onto the book of Obadiah, which you can see. It's a tie-in. I don't have to read that part. I want you to do it. It's one book, 1 to 21 verses, and you'll get the inference of where I'm going with this. Okay? All right, so that's why I'm saying it in that manner, all right? Foundation of the world, and yet it's 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains with 7 nations, on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings, and 5 are fallen, and one is, and the other is not, and yet come, and when he cometh, he must continue for a short period of time. You know, all of those different nations we're talking about, when we talk about Spain, Greece, and we're talking about France, and then all of the Greek and Roman, they all come in, the United States, and they're all coming in at that time for those nations that are part of that. Okay, and they're all getting ready to come down, right? Those 7 kings. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is one of the 7, and goeth into perdition. And that's towards this end time, when how everything falls out and continues and finishes at the end, as we spoke about, right? And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings. That's the kings who are looking for power, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power for a short time. Well, as kings for 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. This is the European Union that we see and talk about, and how they're going to turn against each one of those kings, and those kingdoms are going to turn against that final beast that has that power, that they all give their power to, because this country is the power of the European Union, right? That NATO Union. This country here, the U.S., is that power, that whipping stick, that force that they use. So the victory comes through YAHAWASHI HaMashiach. These shall make war with the Lamb, which is YAHAWASHI HaMashiach, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord YAHAWASHI, the Lord of lords, and the King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Now, we know that once they come down to the valley of Megiddo, right, where when they get to that Armageddon, the area of Armageddon, Armageddon, when it gets to Armageddon, and they all come down to fight against each other, and then they'll turn when Yahawashi and the angels show up with the chariots, once this location has been desolated and destroyed, and then they're going to look to try to go against Yahawashi and the angels and the chariots, which is impossible, because how could a creation fight against the creator? That's impossible. So it'll be sort of like, I always say, a great spectacle, like a fireworks spectacle, where their little penny ante type devices they think they can fight with will just easily be decimated by the chariots in YAHAWASHI Yoshai, with even not a problem. But it'll be a great fireworks display, right? And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. See, and the 10 horns, and it says the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. In other words, they're gonna go totally against this world, this country, and their power that they think it has. For Yahweh has put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdoms unto the beast, unto the words of Yahweh shall be fulfilled. See, now you can see this is all exactly as I said. This is the schedule that is coming in reference to how the Most High is bringing forward the truth that's happening, right? The schedule is coming now, and this schedule is in process of bringing everything down. And again, 18, and the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. And we can see that that is the case right now with this country here in itself, has seemingly the ability to try to talk and influence and try to act as though it controls all the rest of the nations of the world. But it doesn't, but it has that similitude because the Most High has given it the ability to kind of operate in that fashion. So this is where we are now. And this is what we're dealing with right now, is that situation. And so basically, this pretty much is what we're looking at as far as YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. You see, they shadow banning me again. YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, and the mystery Babylon is going down, and it's going down extremely fast and right on schedule. So just wanted to bring this lesson out, and I hope it was edifying to you, because what the Most High has me bring out is information that is fruitful, that can give you an opportunity to operate within his directives, the way that he needs you to operate in his directives, so that you can move forward and know how to be led by the clues that he provides when you're navigating through the raft that he's presenting to the world on everything. So this is the lesson, and we give all worship, all praise, worship, and prayer, wrapped in repentance to YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI. Call hello, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Ruach the water, Yahawah, the water, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, Shalaki, Yahawah, for my sins as I cry. Lord, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI.